It's day one of Prince Harry's trial against the tabloids, and he decided not to show up? Oh, the judge is not having it. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and this is a big week for Prince Harry. It's going to mark the first time, I guess, in forever or ever that a working royal, even though he's not, well, anyway, anything close to a royal has put themselves up to cross-examination in a court battle. But Prince Harry is taking on the tabloids, alleging that they hacked his phone and other terrible methods, which I will see what happens. But yeah, he was scolded by the judge. His lawyers were like, what? Let's break this down, guys. For those of you that aren't paying attention or aren't in the UK, the case is almost halfway through. Obviously, they're ahead of us, and we will be bringing this story for you. While Prince Harry is, yes, facing a hearing about potential deportation, and we'll see where that goes, he's also planning to be on the stand tomorrow. Some say later today, but it doesn't look that way. It looks like tomorrow we will see Prince Harry in court. And oh yes, we will have the updates for you. You're not going to want to miss this, guys. We have a report now, but tomorrow's going to be even crazier. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for alerts, smash the like button, and let me know what you think is going to happen. Will Prince Harry get defensive? It's going to be juicy. Sadly, it's not videoed, but we have lots of reporters there. We'll be breaking down the reports. Steph, the alternate, is helping tremendously. Make sure you support and subscribe to her as well. But what happened this morning and what's happening right now? They are still in trial. But yeah, he was a no-show. So a broken thumb, back injury, dabbling with drugs, dating girls. No event in the life of Prince Harry was too trivial or private for the journalists of Mirror Group newspapers to resist. And the demand for such scoops led to the use of illegal means to dig up the dirt, says Prince Harry's lawyer in his opening statements in the phone hacking lawsuit. Nothing was sacrosanct or out of bounds, and there was no protection from these unlawful information gathering methods, attorney David Sherborne said. This is a big showdown, as they're saying, and the judge was very upset when the guy himself decided not to show up. Duke of Sussex was unavailable to testify this afternoon because he had taken a flight from LA after the birthday of his 2-year-old daughter Lilibet on Sunday. I'm a little surprised, said Judge Timothy Fancourt, noting he had directed Harry to be in the court for the first day of his case if time allowed for him to begin testifying. Mirror Group lawyers Andrew Green said he was deeply troubled by Harry's absence, adding, sorry, I just lost it there. Why did I just lose that? Deeply troubled by his absence, adding he needed a day and a half to cross-examine the prince. Case against Mirror Group is the first of the prince's several lawsuits against the media to go to trial, and one of 3 alleging tabloid publishers unlawfully snooped on him in their cutthroat competition for scoops of the royal family. But yeah, this is the most important thing. Lawyers are saying they needed more time. The judge told Harry to be there because they might need to have him. You know how courts go. They have their opening statements, but sometimes those go quick. There is time. And then the judge wants to be able to move fast and not waste anybody's time. But now Prince Harry is potentially going to waste people's time because, he has a ridiculous schedule was the justification by the Mirror Group, by his own lawyers. He's an extraordinary witness. Here it was. I forget what they tried to justify it by saying because of his schedule and everything else, it does make it harder to show up. But no, I think it's pretty absurd. He didn't plan this in. They knew this date. Lawyers said it was absolutely extraordinary. He was not available for day one of his own trial. And he has been accused now of wasting time, and that's not a good way to start your battle. It's kind of insane. So what is this battle all about? Here we go. BBC put together a nice little summary for those of you who might be confused on this. Prince Harry and 3 other people are taking a newspaper to publisher to court, alleging information about them was illegally gathered to generate stories. They believe journalists from the Daily Mirror, Sunday Mirror, and the People exploited a security gap to access their voicemails and hear messages left by friends and family. Mirror Group Newspapers has previously admitted phone hacking took place, but says it didn't in these cases. Convenient. This is a test case. If Harry and the others claimants win, the judge will use it to set the level of damages, amount of money that Mirror Group could pay in other cases from other celebrities. So look, this is a big deal. It's a big deal, but the question is there proof? Piers Morgan was the editor at the time, who was extremely anti Meghan and Harry. And so he's been very vocal on a lot of this. And they are warning Prince Harry this is going to be a big deal. There could be bruising. Our team in court monitor proceeds, hearing resumes. Thoughts from Matt Dando, a media lawyer and partner at law firm. He's told the BBC that the trial could be a bruising experience for Prince Harry, who is likely to face cross-examination tomorrow. It says the stakes are incredibly high and giving evidence adds elements of uncertainty. The process of cross-examination is incredibly bruising. That is its purpose, to test credibility. It is seeking to undermine and it is seeking to challenge, and there is very little which is off limits. It could stray into all areas of personal and private life. So Prince Harry's really going to be putting the microscope up against himself. So what is Harry's lawyers accusing? Well, his girlfriend at the time, Chelsea David, suspected friends. Everybody in their circle, they expected was the leaker, putting all this information out. David Sherborne, lawyer, noted that Dean Razzle, the People's royal editor, reported an insider had said that Harry just can't concentrate or relax when he's apart from her and gets quite emotional about her absence from his life. He already suggested that an insider were used to cover for illegal methods such as phone hacking. That word insider is what they were using. Prince Harry ended the relationship with Chelsea, decided a royal life wasn't for her because of all the scrutiny. Sherborne suggested Prince Harry and Davy began to suspect friends of leaking to the newspaper. It caused their circle of friends to become smaller and smaller, meaning that relationships were lost entirely, unnecessarily. Sherborne has accepted that there is little direct evidence of unlawful methods being used to get stories like this, but he told the court that Rosewell, the author of a number of Prince Harry's stories, was named in nearly 400 invoices to private investigation firms, including for criminal record and vehicle record checks. MGN denies the stories were gathered unlawfully. So that's what the key is here. They have to prove that this was gathered unlawfully. And here's the lawyer and here's the judge. We get sketches is what we get. But it was if they were never alone is what they are claiming. The closing arguments from Harry's lawyer says it's the use of these messages by National Newspaper Group which has brought him here, not just some vendetta against the press generally. He has been able to focus the attention which comes with his position on these activities carried out by journalists and concealed, even though they were known about it, by senior members of the board of this PLC and the legal department. And that's ultimately what this is going to be about. Is there proof? Mirror Group's lawyer stepped up minutes ago and with a massive counterattack, saying there's not a shred of evidence towards it. He's got to establish that the defendant's journalists hacked the phones. There is simply no evidence capable of supporting the finding that the Duke of Sussex was hacked. Still less on a habitual basis. So they're almost like admitting, well, it might have happened. We didn't say it. We didn't endorse it. Someone may have done it and we didn't condone it, but it may have happened, but you have no proof it happened, and it didn't happen as often as you're saying. There's no evidence to support a finding that any mobile phone owned or used by the Duke of Sussex was hacked. Zero, zilch, nil, de nada, niente, nothing. And that's what the argument here is. Prince Harry has to prove it. And look, it's weird. Amber was somehow able to prove it to Johnny and that judge, even though there was no proof. So it's weird because a lot of people are saying this is going to be a hard one to win, but will it? She got the benefit of the doubt from the judge. Will Harry get same benefit from the judge? That's what's going to be interesting to see. Lawyer for MGN also said it's a striking fact that not one person who has come forward to admit phone hacking has ever said the Duke was hacked by any of these papers in the case. Another striking fact is that the Metro Police has never suggested to the Duke of Sussex that he was hacked by anyone at MGN. It all points to the fact that MGN journalists were not the ones intercepting the Duke of Sussex messages. So that's what it is. Were they freelancers? Were they off-the-record sources? It does seem like something was going around. I know a lot of people want to hate on Prince Harry, but I will support him in this juncture. The press can get crazy. And if they're doing illegal methods, well, that needs to be exposed. And I'm sure they were being very careful about it, but he's got to prove that they did it is the problem here. Just the thought of it is not going to be enough. Prince Harry's got to actually find some evidence here to show that this was happening. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens here, what evidence will be found. Trying to make sure I have no other updates as we are live to air. And 4-point summary of MGN's case from the lawyer. There is no data showing calls for phone hacking to the Duke's phone for other targets that were hundreds. The data was obtained from MGN's phone system and recorded calls made by journalists in newsrooms. None of the whistleblowing journalists who have come forward admitting phone hacking said they hacked Prince Harry's phone. So they admit they did some hacking, but you got to prove it was Harry's. There has been a police investigation in the Mirror newspapers, but police never suggested to the Duke that he had been the victim of it. The security arrangements around Prince Harry were like very few security operations on Earth. Journalists would have been taking an absolutely enormous risk in targeting him, is what their justification is. Well, there's been thoughts that the royal press, the royals, were working with some of the press at the time too, to feed them certain things to avoid other things. So there's a lot to be exposed here, and Prince Harry's definitely putting a lot on the line. And yes, the royals are preparing to cringe as this all happens, but experts are also saying Harry will win regardless because he is going to be seen as the underdog. And even me, someone who's getting frustrated with the royals, I still like Harry better of the two. I do feel for him. And yeah, I do support his quest here to try to get to the journalists. But to say he doesn't have a vendetta, come on, he does. Given what happened to his mother, given what he was told about his mother, all this stuff, yeah, this is going to be a big deal. Now, while the royal family will be watching with an element of horror, she thinks taking a stand like this could boost Harry's popularity, particularly among young people. Rather than being accused of being privileged or entitled, she tells me, in this court case, he'll be seen as the underdog, and that's a good position to be seen in. Many young people will see him as quite a heroic figure, fighting the establishment. It could be good for Harry in the long run, even though older generation will be tut-tutting. So what do you guys think? They're going to be going through a lot of his past. Everything is going to be exposed in this case. Stories from while he was a young prince, his relationship to his mom, his school days, family issues, the teenage partying, the girlfriends. It's all up for scrutiny. And tomorrow he will be on the stand sharing his side, but then also facing that cross-examination. What do you think is going to happen? Is it going to get ugly? Will it be boring? I want to hear your thoughts down below. I think it's going to be far from boring. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for all alerts, and stay tuned. We will give you updates first thing tomorrow here on Popcorn Planet.